So while I am waiting for this to dry, and I did cut one of the parts off, I want to show you what my inspiration is behind it. And this is an art journal page for me that I made. It was actually a practice that I did in just using color and trying to see what some of my products could do. So you can see some stencils behind here. You can see some stamps. There's all the circles, and then I put fussy cuts over top. And that is kind of my idea behind this. This has a thick layer of matte medium on it, so I can always go over it and over it and over it. But yeah, this is my inspiration to create that. Is this going to be purple? Probably not. It'll probably be grungy, but I just wanted to show you kind of where my thought process started. The reason that I'm laughing is that 3 times I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So, you know, it happens. We can't all be very smart all the time. Let's go. Join me. I'm making art. Hi everyone, my name is Mary Lou, and this is Create Junk Journals with Mary Lou. So, like I just said, I am making art. And I am making art by using some of the leftover supplies from Mass Make March. I have lots of stuff laying around me that I haven't used yet. And I figured, well, what better time to use it than for ABC April and for the very first day. And the very first day is the letter A, of course. And what I am doing right now is I am just punching circles. That's all I'm doing. There's nothing complicated about it. So I've punched a whole bunch of circles out of a sandwich bag or a lunch bag, whichever you want to call it. It still is the same thing. And so I'm going to attach those with matte medium again, because matte medium just works wonderful, and I can paint over it and use ink over it. This one does need to go. You need to pay attention a little bit what the shapes look like. If you have a straight edge, then you should really go all the way to the edge and put it right there. Whoops. It's like that. I have a, oh, that's an interesting shape. It can go right there. And I want them overlapping and going all over the place. This would make a good corner piece. Just like that. I have another edge piece that can go right here. And until I have all the edge pieces in place, I will not go to the center. Because I just want to make sure that the edges have some love, and that just makes everything look better. So I am just using very simple material that is easily available wherever you go. There's another edge piece. Oops, and another one. This? Oh, that's more of a circle. There we go. I might use some sprays today. Who knows what I am going to be using. I'm just right now just attaching all my circles to my page to give it some texture. This is really more of a warm-up technique, more so than anything else. And warm-up techniques are important. Warm-up techniques get your brain moving. They don't necessarily get your fingers moving, but they get your brain moving, and they make you less afraid of a blank page. Like, what am I going to do with that blank page? Well, you can just add a little bit of tissue to it, add some circles, and just see where it goes. And I usually start with a whole page, and then I go to about half of it. Like, wherever I end up, that will be where I end up. Oh, I like how that looks. Kind of looks like spots. And I try and have them overlap here and there. I don't want just like this big thing of dots. I want them overlapping and give it some interest and have it look like there's some fun there. Because the next layer that you're going to put over top of it is going to be affected by your first layer. There we go. So I don't know if I said it, but for the letter A, I am making art, and that art is going to be probably a page for in my journal, or maybe it will be tags or a journal card or whatever I want to turn it into. It doesn't matter. Even if I decide that I don't want to use it, that's okay too. But not everything has to be serious, and not everything has to go by rules. And you know what I like the best here is that everything is kind of crinkling and wrinkling and kind of making it look messy, but interesting messy. Works better if you just use one at a time. So I just start on one end and work my way across. And sandwich bag or lunch bag or whatever you want to call it. It just, like, it's thin paper, so it doesn't always behave like other paper would, and that is what gives it all the interest. I'm trying to think. I'm going to go this way. And I try to overlap them as much as I possibly can. And I want them off the page as well. Oops. And I have one more right there. There we go. So this just needs to dry for a few minutes, and I'm also making sure that every piece is attached. I don't want any gaps sticking out. So then what I do is I just stick my paintbrush underneath, sometimes lift it up and put it back down, sometimes go over it with my fingers to make sure I get some medium underneath so that it sticks down a little bit better. There. Even though, like, I like the texture of the bubbles, I don't want the edges to come up. There we go. So I'm going to cut this piece off because I'm not going to need it. But I am going to cut it off probably about here so I get the edges again. but I'm going to let it dry first so that it doesn't tear at me. So while I am waiting for this to dry, and I did cut one of the parts off, I want to show you what my inspiration is behind it. And this is an art journal page for me that I made. It was actually a practice that I did in just using color and trying to see what some of my products could do. So you can see some stencils behind here. You can see some stamps. There's all the circles, and then I put fussy cuts over top. And that is kind of my idea behind this. This has a thick layer of matte medium on it, so I can always go over it and over it and over it. But yeah, this is my inspiration to create that. Is this going to be purple? Probably not. It'll probably be grungy, but I just wanted to show you kind of where my thought process started. Okay, my next step is that I need to add some color in the background. And I have this beautiful stencil by Tracy Scott because I am going with the botanical theme. So I want to put some leaves on here as a background. And I am going to do that by using some distress ink, some distress oxide sprays, and I might grab some paint as well. Okay, I have 3 distress inks, 3 distress oxides. So the oxides that I grabbed are Shabby Shutters, Mowed Lawn, and Crushed Olive. And for distress inks, I grabbed Forest Moss, Rustic Wilderness, and Pine Needles. So you see I have some brighter ones and I have some darker ones. Now I'm going to start with the distress inks because they are the inks. And so I'm going to rub, and then I want to kind of do the same technique with the oxides, but we'll see how that works. So I have my my brush, and I'm going to start with the lightest color. So the Pine Needles will be the very last one that I am using. I'm going to start with the Rustic Wilderness, and I'm just going to rub the ink all over the stencil, and then you get the leaves coming through, and they're just looking pretty. And I'm just putting them here, there, and everywhere, going off the page again, just like I did with the circles. I am also going off the page with the stencil. And this way, it doesn't look like I just stenciled some things onto the page. It actually looks more cohesive. Now I can go in the center. Just like that. And I can probably put one more right there. And I'm going off the page again, just because it makes it look way more interesting than if you put everything in the center. And you see, like, the colors are even, like, not all exactly the same. Like, I used more ink, less ink. So now I am going to take a different leaf, and I'm going back over the same shapes. So I'm going to use Pine Needles, I think. So the pine needles is a little bit brighter than what the forest or the rustic wilderness is. And again, I am going off the page with the stencil over the first one. I like it. And I'm putting the stencil in different ways. So I'm not using it like straight on constantly. It is kind of helter-skelter all over the place so that it doesn't look like it doesn't look too clean. That is really what I'm trying to say here. Oh, I like it. Okay, then I am using the forest moss, and I'm doing the exact same thing again, but again with a different pattern. And I'm going to use this one, and it has the berries in there as well, but that's okay. I just want the green. And the forest moss has like a really pretty color. And I think I want to do one right beside it. Just like that. Yep, that's cool. And then I'll put one right there off the page. Oh. There. And then I'll go right there. And right there. I want to kind of make a cluster of these. There. Let's do one right here, and I'll put it kind of sideways. I want one right here. And then I think I want one right here sideways again. There we go. Okay, so that was my inks. So for my next trick, I want to grab some of the oxides. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray a little bit of the oxides on my glass mat, put my stencil back on here, and then I'm just going to rub until I have some ink on my brush, and then I'm going over here with that. So I'm going to get a completely different effect now. Because it is actually taking the distress ink right off. Oh, that's interesting. That's not exactly what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. What were to happen? Okay, I'm putting this aside, and I'm going to test this out on here. So what were to happen if I were to spray through the stencil then? Okay, let's try that. Because I don't want to lose my distress ink. So if I go like this, and I just give it like a little bit of a spray, And then I go like this, and I give it the other side of the stencil. I don't know if I like that. I am going to stick with it though, so I'm going to put this down. And I'm just going to give it a quick spray. I'm not doing much more than that. So it gives it a little bit of extra color, but nothing major. And that mode 1 is just such a green. I never want to use very much of it, especially because of that. Okay, I'm going to put that leaf down again. And I'm just giving it a little bit of a, that's much better, yes. Okay. And then I'll put it right there. And right there. And you see, like, I'm not using a ton of the oxides because I just don't want to. I may want to dry this for a moment though, so that I don't get a big, huge mess. So I'm in really good form because I did something that I very typically do. And I added texture paste to here. And of course I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So, but I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you anyway, because I just did it and now it's all green, but I want to put another layer on here. So I want this to be built up as much as I can. And I've used this one and this one, and I think that is what I'm going to stick with, because if I go to this, it's too big. This one is definitely too big, and this one, well, that should be berries, so they should be red, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. So I'm going to stick with these two, but I now want them to be a little bit lighter, and I think that is what is going to happen if I am going over it again with white texture paste. Okay, I'm just making sure that my palette knife is clean. And I'm just picking up a little bit of texture paste and putting a thin layer over here. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to have some kind of a leaf shape. Yes, that is exactly what I was hoping for. And it is going to pick up some green. Of course it's going to pick up some green. There's no way around that. This page has so much green on it that you're not going to stop the green from not showing up. Or that you're not going to stop the green from showing up, for sure. But this will be much lighter than what the other ones turned into. And I'm holding the stencil up a little bit so that it doesn't stick too much into each other. There. Oh, I like that so much. I really do. Like sometimes, like you do a project and you're not quite sure where you're going to go with this. And then when it's turning out really pretty, then it's like, oh yeah, like this is exactly what I was hoping for, but I didn't know if that was what was going to happen. And in this case, I even stenciled onto the page edge, which is perfect. That is exactly what I want. I want it off the page. I don't want to have a static idea. So I'm consistently going off the page towards the center. And I think I want one more right here that is a little bit taller. Oh yeah. How lovely is that? I really, really like this. You guys, this is turning out better than what I was even hoping for. The leaves in the back, they're still visible, but they are really pushed in the back now. The green from the previous layer is kind of pushed in the back, and then we have everything just standing out that is in white. I love it. This is going to be kind of a quick project though, because this needs to dry, and it is going to go into my botanical journal, but I can't decorate it yet because I'm not ready with what I want to use in my botanical journal. So this is the art piece that I am using, and this is more a technique kind of idea where you're using collage and then you're using inks and sprays and stuff, and then you're using your texture paste. And with this, like, you can even, if you want to have the white stand out more, you can even put something else over top to make the white stand out more. But I want it to still pick up a little bit of the green inks, and you can, I don't know if you can see it, but it is picking it up. Like right here is picking up the green a little bit, and it will continue to do that until it is dry. So I think that is so cool about this. And the longer that I allow it to dry on its own, the more that it is going to do it. The other thing that I did, and I kind of like swooped it by you, I took the stencil after I had sprayed all the inks and everything on it, and then I sprayed the stencil down with water and put it down on this tissue paper. And isn't that so cool? So this can also be used in the botanical journal, kind of as a like a page overlay or something like that, because it just looks so beautiful. That was all I had for you today. It's not very exciting. Would have been more exciting had I not thought I was recording, and I was not. Tomorrow will be the letter B, and the B is for botanical. So I am going to work really hard to get my botanical kit done so that we can actually get moving, and I can show you what I have in mind and where I am going to take this for the month. For today, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss a part of this. I am going to use art journal techniques. I am going to use card making techniques. I am going to use scrapbooking techniques. I am going to do junk journaling. There will be journaling in there. It's going to be a little bit of all of our worlds, and I am trying to combine them into the month of April in alphabetical order. Today was art. I will see you tomorrow for the letter B. Have a wonderful day.